We're now at a point where we can develop a block plan. We've got a building model that shows here. The other thing, if you go to the project browser and you go to schedules and you look at space program by department, we have our information here for all the various people that we need to fit into this building. So our next step now is to really concentrate on where the rooms are going to go. So going back to floor plans on the first floor, let's go ahead and set up a block plan view. So what we're going to do is right-click on first floor and go to duplicate view, duplicate. You'll notice here on the project browser, we have a copy of first floor. Right-click on that, and let's go to rename. And let's just call it block plan and press OK. So now we have a new view of the first floor. We're going to fix this up just a little bit. Mass elements don't particularly like floors that are already in place because we're going to create our mass elements with floor elements so we can get the square footages. So I'm going to come down here and draw a box from right to left to pick up elements within the floor and also on the walls and stuff. You'll notice that there's a number of things that are selected here. I'm going to go up to the filter that's up here on the tab and click on it. And everything that I've selected, you can see here in this list. So I'm going to hit check none, pick floors, and then press OK. So I've isolated the floor as the filter, and now I can turn it off. So I'm going to come in here and right-click and go to hide view. And I'm going to pick the element that I've selected, which is the floor, and the floor disappears. So now we're looking at no floor on the first floor in the block plan view. Now, our next step is to go ahead and create some blocks. And I'm going to come in actually, and what we're going to do is we're going to place them up here. We got maybe some washrooms and some conference rooms we can put in. So I'm going to come up to the massing and site, and I'm going to come up to place mass. You'll get this message because we have to make sure that the view is on. And we're going to load them in too. So we're going to go to the Imperial Library, find mass, pick up box, and bring one in. And I'm going to kind of plunk him in right next to the stairwell here. And I'm going to hit modify. And I'm going to use then the drag bars here to basically kind of shove him into some sort of space. Now, if I need to be a little bit more precise, I can come over here to dimensions and say, well, I want this only to be 10 feet. So in width, it's 10 feet. Height, we're going to go ahead and make that, let's say, 10 feet as well. And then the depth, we're going to change the depth to, let's say, just 18, and then hit apply. So you can see now that I've got it in there. I can use such tools as move. So if I want to be a little bit more precise in getting them into the corners, I can do that and still use the drag bars to kind of figure out, okay, that's how big my wall's going to be. And I can use such things as copy as well. So if I wanted to make a copy of this, I can do that fairly readily. And you'll see here that I'm making a couple copies as I go along. So I've got a bunch here. And I can even go back and place another one in here as well from the menu. So you got a number of different choices as far as how you want to play in putting these things together. And you'll see here, I'm just kind of moving them around, getting into place to where I think I need them to go, and get this kind of shaped up here a little bit. And now I've got a number of blocks made up for a couple washrooms and maybe even a couple conference rooms. So let's take it another step. Let's add in on a couple of them some floors. So I'm going to pick this fellow right here. I'm going to go to mass floor and pick first floor and go OK. Now, you might not see it yet. So let's go down here to the style. We're going to make sure that it's shaded and that the fine detail is on. So you'll see one has a floor. I'm going to hold down the control key. I'm going to pick up these other guys here and do mass floors all at once. So I don't have to do it one at a time. The control key allows me to add, and now I've got basically all of these with the floors in there. My next step is maybe I want to go ahead and show some color differences between things. So what I can do is come in here, pick one of these mass elements, and basically I can maybe give it a name. Maybe this is going to be the men's room. So I'll put in men's room here, and I'll come up to material here, click on this, pick the button, and we're going to look for vinyl. So up here in the search, I'm going to type in vinyl. And you'll see this vinyl composition tile. We'll pick that and press OK. So now I have a color that's shown. And I can take it one step further by doing annotate, go to text, and in text, I can even indicate that this is the men's room. So I'm going to come in and change the properties for text. A little too big there. We'll use 330 seconds. And we'll type in men's restroom and then click. Now I can do that basically for each one of these elements, and I can continue to keep on labeling these mass elements to develop a colorized plan that kind of gives me an idea of where I'm going. So the challenge here is to be able to use mass elements that can quickly lay out where you think your walls are going to go. You can then colorize them if you want to, so you have a little bit better idea as far as the differences maybe between different spaces. And from there, you can then go ahead and draw walls.